Squid Game is brutal, plain and simple. From glass shattering beneath desperate players to shocking backstabs, literally this game leaves no survivors. In this video, we're breaking down Squid Game's most brutal deaths, ranking them from painful to downright nightmare-inducing. But before we dive into the carnage, let's set some ground rules for what makes a death truly brutal. 1. We're focusing on how painful or violent the death was, not just how shocking. 2. The emotional impact matters. If it left you speechless, it's climbing the list. And 3, it's not just about who died, but how they died. Alright, let's get into it. Which Squid Game deaths were the most gruesome? Time to find out. Number 10. The ultimate betrayal. Han Min-yeon trusting Jung Duk-soo was actually a big mistake. What started as an alliance quickly turned into a death sentence when Moo saw her as expendable. In tug of war, he didn't just betray her, he discarded her, thinking she was too weak to be useful. And in a game where only the strongest survive, that meant cutting ties. Literally. But here's the thing about Squid Game. What goes around, comes around. When the Stepping Stones game rolled around, Han Min-yeon wasn't just out for survival, she was out for revenge. With one final icy stare, she grabbed Moo. She wrapped her arms around him and yanked him backward into the abyss. As glass shattered and bodies fell, he screamed while she simply smiled. It was brutal, poetic, and also the perfect payback. Number 9. The Recruiter's Deadly Gamble. The mysterious recruiter's return in Season 2 wasn't just unexpected, it was terrifying. In Season 1, he was a charismatic enigma, luring desperate players into the game with a simple slap-based challenge. But this time, the stakes were higher. Instead of slaps, he was dealing in bullets. Face to face with Song Gi-hoon, they engaged in a deadly match of Russian roulette where every pull of the trigger could be the last. Each empty click stretched the tension, every second dragging into eternity. But the recruiter didn't waver. He played the game with the same confidence as if he had already accepted whatever outcome awaited him. And then, the inevitable shot finally came. But rather than being executed or trying to escape his fate, the recruiter took matters into his own hands. He honored the values of the twisted game he lived by, pulling the trigger on himself. No begging, no hesitation, just cold acceptance. Even in death, he remained true to his principles, an unsettling yet oddly respectable way to go. Number 8. The rock, paper, scissors game. In Squid Game, genuine friendships are rare, but Se-mi believed Min-soo was different, which was a bad move. But when the Mingle challenge arrived, trust turned to betrayal. The game itself was simple, rock, paper, scissors, but the stakes were life and death, in which Se-mi extended a helping hand, convinced Min-soo would never betray her, but he did. With one calculated move, he secured his survival, leaving her in shock, heartbroken, and utterly alone. Then came the riot. Already reeling, Se-mi was swallowed by chaos. Desperation turned to a brutal fight for survival, but the mob showed no mercy. Stab after stab, her misplaced trust became her downfall. Her final moments were full of pain, betrayal, and the crushing realization that she had been doomed the moment she trusted Min-soo. Number 7. Russian roulette with Mr. Kim. Mr. Kim and Woo-sok finally tracked down the recruiter, but instead of taking him out, they walked straight into his trap. Bound and helpless, they had no choice but to play his twisted game of Russian roulette, each empty click tightening the tension until, boom, a bullet. Mr. Kim made the ultimate sacrifice, choosing death so the others could survive. His final moments were pure horror, tears, terror, and the crushing weight of knowing his fate was sealed. And then, with a final breath, the trigger was pulled. Silence followed, a grim reminder that in this game, even the hunters can become the hunted. Number 6. Thanos gets forked. Thanos, the loudmouth rapper, was asking for it, for real. He bullied, harassed, and blamed Myung-gi for every failure, but when he tried to kill him, that was the final straw. The scene was a dark, grimy bathroom, the air thick with tension, the weapon, a smuggled fork, cold and deadly in his trembling hands. In a desperate, rage-fueled moment, he drives it straight into Thanos' throat, silencing him forever. The sound, gurgled gasps, the splash of blood hitting the floor. It was brutal, it was messy, and yet, from Myung-gi, it was justice. Number 5. Captain Park's brutal backstab. We all saw it coming. Captain Park was shady from the start, but when he was finally exposed as a mole, he didn't just accept defeat, he erased the problem. A mercenary caught him tampering with a drone, his face shifting from confusion to horror. But Pak, he didn't flinch. He struck fast, a blade to the gut, deep, deliberate, then another, and another. The mercenary gasped, hands trembling, but Pak didn't stop. The betrayal had to be buried, literally. Just to be sure, he dragged the body to the edge, the ocean roaring below. One final heave and it was gone. No splash, no struggle, just silence. Pak wiped the blood from his hands, straightened his jacket, and walked away like nothing happened. And the moment Ree knew he wasn't just a mole, he was a predator. Number 4. Sung Woo's cold-blooded murder. Sung Woo would do anything to win. Anything. Sung Gi-hoo and Sao Byak knew he was dangerous, but they still underestimated just how far he'd go. When Sao Byak was injured, Sung Gi-hoon ran to get help, trusting foolishly that S-Woo wouldn't strike. But the moment his back was turned, Sung Woo made his move, quick and precise, a blade straight to the jugular. Sao Byak barely had time to react, just a sharp inhale, a flicker of realization in her eyes before the blood started pouring. By the time Sung Gi-hoon returned, it was too late. Sao Byak lay lifeless, her body crumpled in a pool of blood. Not just a death, a slaughter. And Sung Woo, he simply wiped his blade, unfazed, because in his mind, it wasn't murder, it was survival. Number 3. The heartbreak of Abdul Ali. Some deaths hurt more than others, and Ali's death was pure devastation. He thought S-Woo was his friend, his brother, someone he could trust in a game built on betrayal. But in return, S-Woo tricked him, lied to him, convinced him they could both survive. Ali, ever trusting, handed over his marbles, and that was it. Game over. S-Woo stole them without hesitation, sealing Ali's fate with a hollow promise. Ali stood frozen, realization sinking in like a knife to the gut. His eyes searched for an explanation, but there was none. Then came the final blow. Off screen, a single gunshot. No fight, no last words, just one tear, one flicker of hope, and then darkness. Number 2. The frontman's betrayal. Sung Gi-hoon and his allies believed they had an insider, someone fighting alongside them, someone they could trust. But the frontman, he never switched sides. He was always one step ahead, always watching, and when the time came, he didn't hesitate, executing 2 players, faking his own death and taking down Jung Bae in cold blood. Sung Gi-hoon stood there, stunned, realization dawning too late. The betrayal wasn't just a move, it was a massacre. Trusting the front man, that was their last mistake. Il Nam, the ultimate puppet master. This was the biggest betrayal in Squid Game history. Ree cried for Il Nam, Ree mourned for him, Ree believed he was just a kind, elderly man trying to survive. And then, Ree learned the truth. He was never a victim. He was the mastermind. The entire game was his creation. Every death, every scream, every moment of suffering was designed for his own amusement. The moment Sung Gi-hoon realizes this, the moment Ree realizes it too, is a gut punch like no other. No betrayal, no death, just the cold, merciless truth. And somehow, that's worse. Because Il Nam didn't just break Sung Gi-hoon's trust, he shattered it completely. Which of these deaths shook you the most and which betrayal hit the hardest? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about the most jaw-dropping moments in Squid Game. And if you're a fan of brutal betrayals, shocking twists, and the kind of tension that keeps you on the edge of your seat, hit that like button and subscribe. More epic breakdowns are coming your way. See you next time.